So I want to pick up on day 2 of trading gold. I want to show y'all how I was able to make $103. I started at 7:21 and I was done by 9 a.m. this morning. So all in the midst of taking my daughter to school, dropping her off, and then coming back to the house by 9 a.m. I was done for the day. So it was pretty nice. I woke up, dropped her off. Woke up, took the trade, dropped her off at school, came back to house, done for the day. So let's explain it. I'm going to show you 2 lot sizes that was taken on these trades. I did a 0.4 to get the 103, but I'm also going to show you what you could have did with a 0.1 as well. So right here, you can see I got in. This is a 0.1, guys. Remember, I do a 4-cent lot at this same level, okay? 4-cent lot at this same level on a different account. So this is this, right? So this is going up, and we're expecting it to hit this right here, or 50. Because price is always going to respect the 50 like how I did here. It'll come back. It'll either respect what was done previous, and then it'll do a break. Same thing with the opposite going up. It does it all day long. We also have the parabolic SAR. Of course, we use that as an indicator of movement or trend change, but we don't always depend on it. We just use that as view of the road. So we're going here. So 0.1, right? We're taking this also with a 0.4 all the way up. We'll come back to the next one. All right, guys. So looking into the trade that we're in currently right now, we are at $4. We were at $4, right? We're currently at 43 cents because we're having this pullback that you see happening here. We got in initially right here for the pull up because we saw this crossover right here and a higher low from this previous low, which was the new low that was made. We're going to use that as our indication to go up. But again, if you use ICC Trade by Sky, you would not enter here because of the simple fact we have our high right here. You would wait for a new high to be created. Then you would come back in going into price breaking the previous high. So this would be your indication, correction, and continuation for an uptrend because we have what? A higher low from the previous low. Okay? That's how that works. Now, again, we got in here because we had that confirmation right here that we're going up. Again, this is under the 50 EMA. Price can possibly come up and touch this 50 EMA and come back down like how I did here previously. Price came below the 50 EMA, made a new low, and then pushed up, making its lower high right there at the 50 EMA and then coming down right here, making this new low. So price can easily come up and touch this and come back down, or it's going to break above. So let's see how this plays out. All right, so let's get into it. So we were just 43 cents. We went from $4 to 43 cents, and we're back up $3.23 on a 0.1. Remember, we're also doing a 0.4 as well. That's how we get the 103. So again, pending order right here if price does exceed above, which is what we're predicting if you look at a higher time frame. Again, if you want to know which one we're charting on, this is the 2-minute. You should not be trading on the 2-minute. I'm just telling you right now. But right now, it's been hitting. So that's why I'm doing it. And I'm putting ICC and trend lines on it to see if it's even more bulletproof. But again, you should always trade your markups from the 4-hour and the 1-hour, and then go to trade off of the 15 and 5-minute base to the 1. If you just really want to see where price is going. Other than that, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing and what works for me. So now we're up $3.23. Again, if you were one of them people that was just waiting for that crossover, you would have got faked out right there, because look, it's crossing back over again. So let's say, for example, you're like, hey, I know we got in for this buy and price gave us what? Remember we was just talking about that? Look, we got a new higher low, because this low is higher than that low, and that low is, higher than that low. Okay, it's going up. It's showing us a trend. It's starting to give us a trend line right here. It's starting to give us that resistance going sideways, or say parallel. So right here is our new high. Again, indication, correction, what? Continuation. So we're in on this trade going up. Again, this would have been your best entry on this candle for ICC. Because price came down right here and made this wick, and then came and broke this high right there, giving you your continuation to enter that trade. But again, we entered right here because we knew we had this and this right here. We had that lower low, and then we had that higher low right here. Again, we're looking at aim to target that 50 EMA. Price is giving our continuation. We're hoping for it to break levels of 41.16. So let's see how it goes. All right, guys. So we went from $3 to $5. Okay, we're back over our initial high right here, right? So we have done what? We made a new high, because this high is higher than that one. Okay, so what happens when we make a new high? Price is going to do what? Look for a new low. So what happened with here previously? It made a high and did what? Made a new low, but a low that was higher than the previous one. So price is going to do what when it makes a new low? It's going to make a new high. It's going to try to come and break the previous high. Now remember, if we get equal, that's a sign that price can possibly be respecting a level, and it's going to push the opposite direction of what it's going. So remember, if this could have been equal, it could have easily came back down, but we clearly see that this high is higher than this one. So again, we're getting closer to that 50 EMA. We're getting real close to that TP. We're looking right now at 41.09 is where we're currently at, with price aiming for 41.16, TP at 41.14. Our stop loss is at 41.01. It has not came down. It is giving that parallel trend line that we're needing, like we're doing geometry with scopes or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just charting, y'all. Geometry. Don't overthink it. And if you weren't good in geometry, but you're good in trading, screw what they talking about. You know how to do geometry. Because that's how I look at this. This is clearly geometry. Algebra's harder. So this right here is where we're looking at. Again, we're not moving our stop loss to break even, because price can clearly come back and snap that. Okay, so we're leaving our stop loss right here. Again, just so y'all know, we're aiming to make on a 0.1, we're aiming to make $25. Okay, we're aiming to make $25 on a penny, 1 penny. Okay, we're aiming to turn this to $25. Okay, so, and it's so sad this got discontinued in 2025, but we're aiming to turn this into $25. Okay, so you're only risking $2. I think we're only risking maybe $2 and some change. Like, I'll show you later, like, how much you're risking. Like, this is only $2 right here. Underneath this space right here on a 0.1 is $2. Now on a 0.4, it's more. Okay, we're risking more, so just keep that in mind. But we're not negative. Again, positive, and we broke the previous high. So let's. Okay, guys. So to keep you guys focused, remember we started trading at 7:21. It is now 7:31. Okay. It's only been 10 minutes, okay? It's only been 10 minutes that we had this penny, and it turned into a $10 bill. 10 minutes. This turned into a $10 bill. Paper into 10 minutes. $10.54. Now on that 0.4, whoo, we already like at $40. 10 minutes, okay? So remember, we had that pending order because we said if price does exceed above this, it's going to do what? Activate on its own. We didn't even have to do market execution. This was market executed. That was a pending order. Again, you could have had an order right here just sitting after price after price came down. You could have put your order in for price to come back up and touch it. Only after prices come back down using ICC right there. Okay, indication, correction, continuation. That's it. We have our high and our previous high, and then we have our low and previous low. Which way are they going? That's all you need to know, and that's going to tell you where to go. Okay? And we know that this one is higher than this one. Like I said, that one's higher than that one. And again, we're aiming for the higher high, right, from previous. So we're aiming for this to take that high, remember, at these numbers. So it looks like it's going to hit TP, but I think as I'm trading, I started to think about y'all, and I said, you know what, let me trade a little bit for them and let them see what it's like when you hold a trade just a little too long. Or let's say, for example, you like, hey, I walked away from my phone, or I was at work doing something. Like, it happens. So I'm going to follow this trade, and I'm going to hold them a little longer, and I'm going to activate another one just for that person to be like, hey, I got in the trade, but I got in late. This is what you would have got, or how you could have managed the trade as it went along till 9 a.m. Remember, we started at 7:21, ended at 9 a.m. So, but this is where we were at in 10 minutes. Okay? On a 0.1, I'm just showing you this part. Again, 0.4, you can do the numbers and see for yourself, but it's, yeah, we're at $40 that's on the other one. But this is where we're at on the 0.4 in 10 minutes. So let's go to follow this trade and see where. All right, guys. So we're back into the trade. As you can see, that order did activate, and we're in another trend. In another trade. So as we can see, you zoom in on this 2-minute chart, we have this higher low right here with this higher low. With the reason why we're holding more for the buy is because what we have here, price came, made a high, did a correction, making this low, and then we broke into the continuation right here, which gave us this high. But this is false. Right here, this high is lower than this one. So if anything, we should find a new low breaking this low, but price never does that. It gives us a higher low from this one and continues on breaking this high. So along with the previous, so we would use this one as our trade to enter in off of. If I was doing ICC, I would enter off of this one coming into price going up. So because we have our indication, correction, and continuation. That's how I see it. Again, you should be trading on a higher time frame, but I just feel like this 2-minute is just perfect. 1 minute is just too anxiety for me, too much anxiety, but this right here is definitely clean. 2 minutes still too, it's all on how you feel. The more advanced you are, you can trade on anything. So again, we're making new higher highs, and we're looking to make a new higher high. That's what we did here, and then we're looking to make higher lows. Again, this right here is now at $12. Again, looking to take this to 25, and these are just extra to ride along to close out as you go along, but holding this one the whole way, right? I wanted to do this for the people that like to hold and they don't close the money once they get it. So you see, we were going parallel. Remember, we were talking about that, how we're getting higher lows right here, and it's just getting higher and higher with our lows, right? It's going up, and we're getting higher highs along the way. We didn't get that higher high right there. If anything, price came and made a new low matching with this, but lower than that, but matching with this. Remember, we talked about them equals. So now we're looking to what break down. Prices has the ability to come back to this right here, going forward to this right here, which is what it did, making what? Another equal. So what did price do? Corrected itself and continued on with that. So that's where we're at on this. But this right here is technically a correction going into another correction continuation right there. So we're just going to allow price to do its thing. But honestly, this is what happens when you don't take the first close. People be like, I can get more, I can get more. It didn't hit our full TP. We actually did hit some good numbers. Now, this should have been right here our indication to take profit once we saw price close back below the previous high right there. That should have closed you out. You should have been done with the trade. Um, but again, that's how you can control yourself on greed. If you're like, I don't know how to let this trade go or when it's going to end, that's how you can control yourself, by moving your stop loss into profit. Again, we left our stop loss here because we're looking long term on the higher time frame. But again, like, price did come back right here and could have wicked us out, but it didn't. It pulled back. So again, respecting that trend line, respecting ICC with indication, correction, continuation. So we would close these trades out. Don't give this back. Right here, once we saw price come right here with this first candle and close below this right here, that gold bar, we're done. We didn't need this to come back up and come back right here just for us to close out. We had already did it. So you could have got in for sales right here, but it would have been short. It wouldn't have been long term. You know what I'm saying? It's only going to go about as far as here. It didn't break below the previous low. So it's only going to go so far and come back. Now remember, we're going to trail this trade. So now we're currently having this break, right, of a trend. And again, we have our crossover as backup, but it is saying, hey, prices, bulls are coming back in control of the market. Buyers are coming back in control, right? And then we have our 50 right here. So we do have our tools of support, but don't let it be too cluttered for your mind to see what's really going on. So remember, we came down and made what? That low. So if anything, we're looking for what? A new high. And if we don't get a high to break the previous high, we're looking for a new high to create what? Another low. And then continuing on to make a new high. So the reason why we're holding these are for the people that didn't let go, right, in the first pull. So this is what happens when you hold. Again, this trade right here is never going to close on the second account for the 0.4. We hold at 41.04, okay? So at 41.04, we hold the whole entire time on the 0.4 because we're using a higher time frame at this entry with this stop loss, okay? And then on the 0.4 from here to here with that stop loss is $10. Yeah, only $10 for the stop loss from right here to here. Again, we're riding this. We're focusing on what's going on with the market. Is giving us new higher lows, right? This low right here is higher than this one, so we're getting new higher lows. It's giving us indication that price is going to go back bullish. So we're looking for price to come and break 41.17. If not, it could wick back right here at this level where it's currently at 41.15 because we do have this level right here as well. So we're going to see what the price does and what new high is going to give us from this high going up to in this area. Let's see what happens. Okay, this is perfect, guys. So we were looking for price to make that new high, right? and it's respecting that same level kind of from over here, but price gave us our new high. So we're gonna do what? Look for our new low, and price just did that for us. So we have this low here. So that is our support. This is our resistance. So this is our new support level right here. Again, we're looking for a new higher low. We want a new higher low and a new higher high. That's what we're looking. Now, we do see this crossover. I want to keep y'all in on the people that like catching those crossovers. It is doing a crossover right here, but remember, this is producing higher lows. So let's see what happens. If this is broken, and if this is broken, then we could see a push down to these zones, but it would have to come past these levels to show strength in the trend being broken. All right, so right now we're currently at price. We have found a new level to give us our trend line from this low. We made a new low from that low, right? We had that low earlier. It came and made a lower low than that low. So we're going to use that to mark our trend line going up to see if price respects the gold bar as which it did before in the past. Okay, guys, so we are now in the positive right here at 66 cents. And this right here is at 40. And then on the 0.4 on the other account is at $40 right here. Again, with a stop loss of 10. And this one of a stop loss of $2 on the 0.1. Again, we're not removing this trade, looking to take this one longer to the other high time. So we're looking for price to continue. I'm just showing you an update of where we're at. Again, respecting this trend line, looking to take out that high and breaking of this high. So let's keep going. All right, guys, I know y'all are getting excited. So we were correct on our analysis for this trade. We are now from that 66 cents to $2.72, and this one here running at $12. And again, eating on the 0.4 on the other account. So again, looking to take this up to this TP. Me personally, if I was in these trades right here, I would wait for market to to correct itself if I want to see it go back bullish again. But at some point, price is starting to find itself, like if we break these lows right here, like this double touch right here, we're going to look for a bearish market at some point. Even again, if it breaks these touches, 1, 2, 3, if it breaks this zone, we're looking for another bearish market. But right now, we're looking for a new high. We are currently at the price levels right here of 41.17. Again, we're looking to take profit at a whole nother number. Looking at levels of like 41.25 is what we're looking for. But again, that's only on this trade. I'm just keeping you following up so you can see how this is moving. This is the closest thing I can get you to lifetime, versus being able to, this is the closest I can get to you where you can see these numbers fluctuating and going up and down in the market. Again, once we had this pullback and correction right here with continuation, I would really look to take profit anything above this level. I would really have my stop loss at this level. Anything above this coming back down, stop loss right there on everything. Okay, guys, we were just at 272 right here. We is at 318. We are getting at that take profit level, okay? Like I'm about right there, okay? We literally just came and touched the previous high. Now, for those that came and took this trade and like, oh, I didn't want to let go, I got greedy, I thought price was gonna come back a little sooner. This is greed right here. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. If you're a buyer and if you was selling, smart, but only go to right here. But if you was buying, oh my God, Like, there's no point to buy or to, you know what I'm saying? If you wasn't already in it, don't hold it. You know what I'm saying? But this right here would get greed and make people close out of this early before it goes back into this. Again, it did break our trend line. And I said you should close if it breaks this. But obviously, you know what I'm saying? Why give all that back? You just made all this. Why give it all back right there? It don't make sense just to have to go and get it again. You could have got it once and twice versus still being on the first one. Could have been on the second one. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not here to get money back. We're not here to keep holding and letting, again, the only one we holding long term like that is one trade. Other than that, all these other trades could be open, close, open, close, open, close. Holding that one long term because it hasn't broke. 41.06. Okay? So again, even then, our stop loss is 41.01. So I mean, we're only going to lose $10 on the 0.4, and then you're only going to lose $2 on the 0.1. Like, you're not blowing your account on these trades. I need you to understand that. If you blow your accounts because you're doing way too much in between here and there, and you're not following ICC, and you're not respecting price breaking higher lows and lower highs, and respecting the trend. That's it. People overcomplicate this so much. But let's keep going. We reached these levels again. Our TP is 41.25. Do we hold this long? No, because price, I mean, if we do hold it, we're going to look for the new high. But again, that stop loss is getting moved right there. After it breaks this new high and anything above that, stop loss right there. And if it comes back down, we're out of the trade. Safe, no loss, no nothing, no anything. That's how you do it. Next trade, we're going to show for those that like to be greedy, that didn't close right here, and they're like, hey, I want to just get a little bit more. Let's see if it breaks and make a new high, because we're looking at the higher time frame. Again, this is a lower time frame chart. So we're going to give them the... All right, guys. So this is just a follow-up. Again, we're still following this trade to see how it plays out. So price breaks this high, right? But look what it did once it came and made a new high. Remember, when price makes a new high, what did it do? It always come and make a new low. So that's what the price did. It came and broke that high and made a correction to make a new low, because our indication was over. So we're on the correction now, looking to make a continuation. Look right here. There's your lower high and your previous high. So, I mean, all right there, you know what I'm saying, in this zone. So that gives your indication, correction, continuation there in this zone. But we don't want to trade this. Remember, we're already in this from back here. So remember, we got this still going. So since this is pulling back like this, and it came and still touched this level to get this here, I honestly would not try to take this all the way up to take profit with these trades here, because it's just too close for market to come back and take it out. So I would literally, like I said, move my stop loss right here and take my trades there if this comes back down to do this again. But see, again, if we would have just did that from the get-go, we would have already been out the trade way up here. So when it came and did all this, we would have been out. But again, for those that would have held on just that one more time for price to come and respect this black line, because price does respect that black line, you know, for those that was like, hey, I think it's going to wig back off that black line, you could have did that too, to wait for confirmation for price to continue, which it did with the continuation correction. But correction continuation, but that's how that works. But I would have closed this right here again on these levels and kept this running. Now this could also get closed too. Honestly, I would close it all out and just wait for price to start over. Once I get the money right here close out, ride it back down, or wait for the next uptrend. Close out, ride it back down, wait, enter in for the next uptrend because it respected this level. Ride it back down, wait, enter in because it was respecting the trend and take it up. You didn't even have to do sales. You could have just waited for every buy that presented itself. Or you could have did both. And a lot of times people blow their accounts because they're trying to do both. Sometimes you can either stick with one or the other, but look at the overall picture and then use that as your bias to determine which one you're going to be. So we're going to close these out. All right, so let's give an update of how that played out. So price made that correction and made that new high right there. So we had that trend line right there. So when we had this right here, I said, you know what, let's do one more trend from the low to this low, because this is really the true low, because that one's not lower than that one. So this is our true low here. So I said, bam, let's pull that all the way out, right? Price literally went up. Okay, we closed out, y'all. Price literally came and made that new high, and I said right there, bam, right here, bam, it came in choo 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 choo, all the way to where we had our level of where price could go. Again, not not messing with the stop loss. Stop loss is still at them levels, but price came back all the way to our first entry. Do you understand that? We just closed at $13.90 something cents right here, almost $14 on a 0.1, and a whole lot more, like $40, or if not more, like 50 something here on a 0.4. So we literally made the money. This is if you would have held. This is for the people that held the whole time and just did not know when to let go. Made the money, gave it back. Made the money, gave it all back. See that? That's how people blow their accounts. Now, how do you keep yourself calm when you see something like this where price comes and goes all the way back to your entry like that? You start to wait for price to make a higher low from this low. You don't want it to break this low here. You want price is where it's wicking back. You want price to stay wicking back if you're stuck in those buys, especially right here on that other account. Remember, we're like, damn, we still got a breathing room of $10 on the 0.4. 0.1 breathing room with $2. That's the only you're going to lose, especially if you got like a $50 account. You're not about to blow your account. You can trade again. So we have this right here, right? It doesn't break this low. We're hoping that it doesn't break this. Price is currently at 41.03, so we're wicking back. So we're wanting to see how far price is going to wick back. Now, we could do another trend line based off of that wick and drawing it over to see where it goes, but you don't want to clutter the chart too much. You want to make sure you still see the full picture. But that's where we're at. We're going to scale in on this a little bit more because we are trailing this trade on a 0.4 on a different. Now, this right here is really important, guys. Remember, we had price wicking back right here at these levels. Now, price did come towards this low, but it didn't come through this one. We still have these two, remember, that gave us our reason why we wanted to take the trade. The true initial low that's over here, it never came and broke that. So we're still in this trade going up, right? Now, remember, this is a swing trade, not more of a swing trade, but a long-term hold on a higher time frame. We're just looking at in the smaller view because we traded this already. You already know this already, so we're just going to follow it versus going to a high time frame, and it throws all this off that we gained today. We want to keep this knowledge right here and continue on. So price, again, remember I was talking about I could have brought a wick right here, so that would have gave us another trend, but it would have been just a little bit too much. So you could have used the base candle, but again, we could have did another trend line. So looks like it's building a fan, but right now we want price to close above this trend line here and look to reach these levels of here and here with the 50. Let's see how this plays out right here. And for those that like to catch the green and black crossover, let's see how price respects that as well and see if it gives you confirmations of these levels. We want price to close above this. All right, price is starting to do its thing. What we needed to do, as you can see here, we had that wick back. Price is now closed above this trend line here. Like I said, we were waiting to see it come and touch these levels right here and possibly breaking above that 50. Again, it's either going to respect the 50 like how it respected here and went up. It's either going to respect this 50 and come down, or it's going to break and close above the 50 like here and continue up. So like how I did here, close above the 50 and continue up. Touch the 50, continue up. Came below the 50 and continue down. So we're looking for price to try to do what? Break up. But we want to see how it does at this level and if it shows respect or support at these levels. So let's see. Remember, we do have this touch and this touch. So this is where price is kind of going to be having a strong zone. We want to see it break that zone there. This is important, guys. Remember, we just called this. We just called it, right? We just said if price gets to the 50, what it could do. It could wick back. But do not get psyched out. I promise you. Don't get psyched out because price has to come and correct itself. It has to show where it's willing to go. It has to breathe to see how much air it needs to suck in before it lets back out again. So you gotta allow price to do that. Again, we're at this level here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're right here. So this is a strong zone, just like how this up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, is a strong zone. So price is going to do the same thing that it did here up there. We're still holding because price is still above this trend line. We don't want to see it come back below. Long as it's respecting, we're going to continue to hold. This is for those that get greedy and was still doing all that in there and didn't close out those trades that were right there. That would have been a whole lot. This one would have still been going, but man, to give all that back would have been like, wow. So you could have entered in off of this wick here. Honestly, this could have been, because you know anything from this level and above, buyers have control. So once we seen that this was wicking back and it didn't close below where buyers are sitting to create new selling pressure, we knew we were going back up. We have all this room that's already been proven. So that's why it wicked. So we're going to follow it up. Let's see if we close. Right now we're going to look for a close above this 50. So right here, like we were saying, we were waiting for price to close above here, but it made a gap. Don't trip. Price is going to try to correct itself sometimes when it makes a gap just to come back and feel it and then take off. But as long as price stays above this 50 and above this trend line, we could extend this out. We're going to extend that out, but that's going to go further and this will go further. But as long as it stays and respects this trend line and the 50 EMA, we're looking for this indication to keep going until it gives us our new high from our low, because we got our low and we got our previous high. So we need to know, once we have our low, we need to know where our new high is. So we're going to continue at price at 41.13 to see where it goes from here. Looking to touch zones 1 and 2. So TP1, TP2, TP3 coming up from out of this, which could be a whole new trade, ending everything from this way off and starting off new, entering on this candle up. All right, so I want y'all to see this. Price came, filled that gap. See where the wick is right here? It came and filled that gap and respected the 50, y'all, and kept going above, again, looking for that new high. We're still in the indication process. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking for where price is going to mark itself from here, here, or here, going this way to make its new high. This is the high, so it can make a lower high here or here, or it can make an equal high, a new high from here. So that's where we're looking to see price touch this level, and this level before it continues on anymore. Again, entering off of this candle for a new trade. But if you were holding long term on a higher time frame, we're still on this trade with that stop loss. So we're still holding good. Let's see where we're going. So okay, back to view this chart again. Remember we were just talking about our TP? What did price do? It came and hit that zone. We're currently here at 41.16, looking for price to touch this zone, and then possibly our high at 41.18. Looking to take our TP all the way to 41.25. Anything above that is nice, but that's our TP. So we got a little bit more room to go, but let's see how this plays out. But that's where we're at. Price currently with prices still is giving bullish momentum, and it has still going on the indication breaking previous high levels. So like I said, this is the high though, but it's breaking all this from the past. So this is the next zone for it to break before we get to this one. All right, guys. So again, we were just talking about these levels here and here. Price is currently at 41.17, and okay, check this out. This is perfect. This is perfect. So price came to this high that matches this one, right, y'all? And never came to the true high. It made a lower high, right? Anytime we get a lower high, price is going to do what? Correct itself. So price can possibly come down to these levels again. We're still holding. We're going to extend this trend line out and that trend line out, but we're going to extend this one out and see if it respects this trend line in this 50 EMA. If it respects it and holds above, like here, it hold above and respect it should give us the same momentum coming back into this area, going back up over here. So again, we're still going to look for this right here to be our levels. But this is now our new high right here. Again, anytime it makes a new high, we need to see if we're going to make a low. And then if so, we want to make a higher low. Nothing breaking past this or this. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And if it does come past those zones, right here is where our next level is that we don't want it to surpass. Okay, 2 seconds on this chart. We're not going to be on here long. Price is coming to this level, like I said, right? So we're just looking for price to respect it and wick back like how we seen here. Let's keep moving. All right, so price has gave us that wick back. So it's letting us know that it's respecting that level. As you can see, it gave us that new wick, and it's now pushing up to price being at 41.15. It's pushing up. We needed to go above this high right here to surpass this one, but we need to break this level of right here. Again, price can consolidate just a little. It'll look like it's consolidating, but price is going to test levels of high and low before it goes into full correction. So long as we're supporting this trend line right here, we're going to speed time up a little bit just to help the video so we're not watching too long. But again, this is going to wick between here before it just fully breaks out. We are hoping it don't break down to here, but if it do break down, we don't want it to surpass this. So we're going to let this speed up a little bit and see how it goes, okay? Okay, so we're going to pick it up from here. Price did move a little bit going this way. As you can see, it did give us another wick that respected the 50 EMA and the trend line, but it did not break these two lower wicks that we used initially for support. So it's giving us a wick above. So again, a new high low above this low. So price is starting to cross over again. For those that be trying to catch the crossover, if you would have tried to get in for a sale, you would have got stopped out because again, it didn't break past the 50. You would have got caught and it would have been going back into buying pressure. But again, we needed to respect this level. We're looking for price to break this support level. You see all these wicks, 1, 2, 3. There's wicks right here because this is holding 1, 2, and then 3. It's holding right there real strong. So we want to buy out sellers that's sitting at this level to push up past these levels where it's done wick back. So we're looking for one level here, and then the initial high here. But this is our new high from this. We're looking to break this to take the overall high. But again, that's what we're aiming for. We're looking for a new higher low in this right here to continue up high, or for price to break this zone. Let's keep continuing, and we'll fast forward for time purposes. All right, these next two pictures of like as I said, we're following it. I can only screenshot as I was trading it earlier this morning to try to keep it up. So I'm trying to explain it as much as I can as we're going. So remember, we were talking about we wanted this to break these wicks over here and to surpass this right here. So we're looking for price to break this high, but if it doesn't break past this, we're looking at price possibly making a new lower high, which is lower than this high here. So price can possibly do that because we're at another zone, 1, 2, 3. Price can possibly make a new lower high, which is bringing this parallel, bringing a trend line going down this way. So we would have it touching 1, 2, and then coming down, waiting for a breakout above. But again, we have a double touch. Remember, 1, 2 equal right there. So that price came down, giving us a higher low from here going up. So we're going to play this out, but I'm thinking this is going to give us that higher low from how the way this is going right here. And then we have these two touch points. So let's see how this plays out. And we'll just try to speed it up a little bit faster. But yeah. So we sped up a little bit and let price do its thing. Price came and made a lower high because it's lower than this high here. So that one's lower than this one. It made a new lower high. So we knew when price did that and was coming back past this level here, heading down, we're looking for price to make a new low. Whether it be a higher low or a lower low, we're looking for price to make a new low. So price came and broke this low here, right? But it never came and broke what was once support, what's once a resistance that we can draw on over and drag it over and use that as a stop zone for this. It didn't come and break that next level, which is the wicks right here in the body of the ending right here. It didn't come past this, but it did come through this here. Again, our initial low is right here, so it's still technically a higher low from this low. So we're still technically pushing up. We have not broke this trend line, but we did break this trend line, but it did not close below. Didn't close below here, didn't close below here, but it did close below there and broke down. Price didn't close below, price didn't close below. It respected it and now traveling back up. Let's see what happens. We're looking to hit and break above these zone levels where sellers are holding strong. We're looking to buy them out, so they got to get them the money up. So just to give y'all the support information that you needed on why we're still holding this buy and why our bias is still bullish, is because we extended, remember we had this line, so we went ahead and extended that second line out. It respected it. See that? It respected it and wigged back up. It disrespected it and broke above it and held as support. But this one, it totally respected it and wigged back, going back above. So what we did, since this made a new low from this low, we went ahead and took another trend line from that low, marking it to here, heading on up. So we're going to see if price respects this trend like how I did 1, 2. We have our third one, and this is 3. So we're going to see if this is going to hold us up, and this is going to be our base trends going this way. But we're going to see how this holds because it did give us our new low right here from this low, but still a new higher low from this low. So we're looking for price again. Sellers are sitting right here. We're looking to buy above 41.14 and looking to hit and close or match or equal at 41.18. So let's see how it goes. So the trade is almost over, guys. We're almost done. Like I said, it started from 7:21 to 9 a.m. So we're speeding it up as fast as we can. So again, you can kind of ignore this trend line, but it's still there to be valid with these two touches right here. But we're still going to use these here. So look, price has came and broke above our high and is now touching the equal zones of these highs. If it makes an equal all the way across, then price can possibly come back down again. But I seriously doubt price has made it this far for it to back down at this point. I think it's going to break all the way above because again, we still have a new high low compared to this one right here. So I think we can possibly reach the levels of 41.18 and surpass that and go above 120 to hitting our take profit at 125. So let's see how this plays out. All right, guys. So our price has been triggered, price alert triggered. We hit that high. So we hit TP. If you were in this trade right here going down, coming back up, you hit TP with no drawdown. So that is pretty nice. If you were in it for this, you would have had a little bit of a pullback, but no drawdown. But I mean, you still would have took it up. But that's one trade, two trades, three trades, taking only buys that you could have profited off of easily, or just taking one and then holding it all the way. But clearly, one trade, two trade, three trades, all going up for buys, and that's not taking sales. You could have took a sale here and a sale here. Not really there, but definitely here and there. But why? It's an uptrend. You know what I'm saying? So we're not looking for that. And again, we had this pull back here, but it never broke. If we pull this screen back, it never broke what was going on down here. So this is just to fake you out and to get people's stop losses that were from orders up here before taking it back up. But we hit our TP for the first high right here, the major high. So this right here is our new level of where we want to see no longer sellers being held at. We want to see buyers come into control, but sellers are no longer, whoever was holding right here, that whatever sellers that were holding right here are no longer there. They're gone and they're looking to break up. So let's see how it plays. Remember how I kept saying price is going to hit 120, price is going to hit 120? It did. Look, it broke and made a new high at 120, just like how we said it would. That would be the new high, right? We called it. Like, we've been calling everything from the start, from right here when we started with just $4, y'all, went 33 cents to $3. Like, we started all right here just a while ago, and look where we are right now. Like, we did that. Bravo. Like, if you caught and understood all that and was able to follow along the way up to now, you did a successful trade. Not only one, but a good 3 trades plus your 4th one still running. That is bravo, y'all. We hit that 420. But remember, our take profit is 425. So we got from here to here we got from here to here to go. Okay. And anything above 425 and above is just nice. But we're going to put our stop loss. If the price goes up above 425 and it's up here, we're going to put our stop loss right there. So if it comes back down, we made our profit for today and it's done. So again, highs at 41.20. We're about to see where price does. We're going to follow it just a little bit longer. Again, it is not 9 a.m. just yet. We have not closed the trades just yet. Remember, we started at 7:21, and it's not 9 a.m. yet, okay? On this chart. So stick with me. We're going through them fast, but I'm trailing it and trying to clock it as much as I can so y'all can see live movement. out it being, oh, we're gonna bar replay. There's no bar replay. This is all live market. So y'all literally are seeing these candles form and haven't existed yet. There's no bar replay. This is all live. So let's keep going. All right, guys. So we're at our TP levels. We are done. Price surpassed our TP of 125 and hit highs of 41.28. So 41.25 was our target, but it closed out at 41.28 with stop loss at 41.25. Listen, man, yo, can we just give bravo to this here, because like this is what you could have made on a 0.1. Again, remember we was talking about that stop loss. Remember, price came right here. Our stop loss is right here. So remember, price wigged back. It did not break past that zone. It kept right there and went right back up. So again, you was safe right here at the true low, okay, with the stop loss. Again, we entered there, rolled that up. That's one trade. Could have re-entered here, another trade, put another entry here, and rolled it up again. Again, we just showed y'all 0.1. The most you could have lost was $2.55 with the chance to gain $25.92. You only risked $2 to make 25, starting with just a penny. We didn't even do a quarter, okay? That was just what this pennies. So we're going to put the penny right there. That penny right there next to that green arrow right here on this line is our entry. We started with a penny, and the most we was going to lose was $2. We took this penny all the way up just like this, and bam, $25. Off a fudging penny, okay? Don't get this, don't look at this as small money. That was a big move, okay? For this to flip. And all you risking was $2. Let's see how that 0.4 went. All right, guys. So this is the initial update for the 4-cent lot, which is a fraction of a nickel. This is a nickel, not a penny, okay? See the silver? So less than 1 penny of this nickel, 4 cents, okay, of this nickel we entered right here, right? See the entry, see the arrow, see the nickel right here. Our stop loss, we're going to just say it was 5 cents, but it was only a 4-cent lot, but take 1 penny off. So we just going to sit this nickel right here. The most we would have lost on this nickel was $10.20. That's what we were willing to lose if it went wrong. We're willing to lose $10. So we took that 4 cents, which is 1 penny off a nickel, and held it up. About here is $40 TP. If we would have closed out right here, went down, held it up. About right here is $50 or so. Took it down, held it back up, back at 40, and then bam, right here. This 4 cents, 1 penny less of a nickel is now $103. We only risked $1.20 to make this, like I said, one less penny than a nickel. 4 cents, okay, turned into $103. Only risking $10 to make profit. Again, could have closed here at 40, 50, and so on. And I'll just show those levels just so you can see, so you can have a visual. But yeah, closed out. This was the trade for the day. TP at 128. We just aim for 125. As you can see right here on this scale line on the side. Order was at 4102, sorry, right here, 4102. And stop loss was at this level here. It was also moved to 4104, but again, 4104 was our entry. Ooh, sorry. But our stop loss was right here, roughly 4100. So yeah, that's the trade though. That was it. Again, it was the stop loss was at the base of the true low, coming out of a downtrend, going back up. And again, this was done on a 2-minute chart, going down into the 1 minute, but basing the overall pullback of the low on a higher time frame with a target on a higher time frame. But that's it, guys. I hope that y'all like this trade. I'll show the two setups again where you could have got $40 here and $50 here. You didn't have to wait for all this because. Okay, and then like I said, I'm gonna be true to my word. This is the end of everything. But again, if we would have just took this up with that first pull, you know what I'm saying, with this first trade, you could have got 40 definitely right here. You know what I'm saying, at this zone, especially catching it before this pullback. And even if you did ride for that pullback back up, you could have closed out right there with that high, with that lower high being created, because there was a lower high created from the previous high right there. So you could have closed out still at $40 just on this trade alone, not doing any of this. Let's say if you would have held it to up here, I'm gonna do the numbers. I think this is about $50 or so right here, but we're just gonna do the numbers. Had you held up to here, what you would have got, and the potential of this one, because we know this one overall played out one way, but again, we'll show real quick. Again, so a little bit over $50, but you definitely could have closed out at 50 to 60 bucks on this one trade right here for sure, with a 0.4. And then coming back into this trade, if you would have did a whole nother one and just held this, let's say you held it to here and you're like, ooh, I got caught in that drawdown, but that pullback, not drawdown because we're in profit, but we had a pullback. We'd be like, ooh, we think it's gonna go up. You could have closed out at almost $60 for sure, but 59 from what it shows at this level. And then for the people that would have took it just one more time and got scared and couldn't handle, because we don't know this is going to happen, but you were like, I know this high is right here. You could have rode that to this high right here and got $50. So we could have got 3 trades from this entry level just going up from right here, but you could have easily got $40 to $60 here. Could have got another, because this would have probably been another amount. You probably got maybe another 30 or something between here. Taking another trade, and then you could have got definitely another $60 from this trade here, and then possibly riding it back up to collect the rest for another 50, because this right here up is like another 50 bucks or so to make it 103 up here. So, but that's it. I hope that y'all liked it. Again, remember, we kept our stop loss small, and we said, how much are we willing to lose today? And I woke up and said, I'm willing to lose $10, and that was it. And that was my potential and my full benefit of my gains. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I tried my best. I will look better next time, but it was real early in the morning. Like I said, I started at 7:21 and I was done by 9 a.m. on the dot. With the final trade. That's not including 1, 2, and 3, but the final trade overall was done by 9 o'clock. So I can't stress it enough. That's not even a full 3 hours of trading. That's not even a full 3 hours. So guys, take it how you want it. I said 103 is not maybe a lot to some people, but there's somebody out there working a whole bunch of hours just to get to $100 right now. I guarantee you. Even those that are making over 20 an hour, they're still having to put some time in, at least a good 4 or 5 hours before they're hitting over $100. So like I said, I did 2.5 hours, if that, maybe, but under 3. We'll just keep it solid. Under 3 hours, I made my 100. And I did it all from my phone. It's not like I was having to work. I changed my my hoodie. I had to change my clothes. But like I said, there wasn't a whole lot that was done in this trade. Again, we used ICC and trend lines. But ICC was the main thing, basically following Breaks of higher lows and lower highs, with structure being followed with price action, and following that with support of trend lines to see clear continuations. That is all that we did today to take these trades. Of course, we had the EMAs with the 50 and the 5. But again, we can't just use that to be 100% solid. You can see it clear as many times as it crossed over. Those were just pullbacks before a full actual continuation of the full trend itself. So always remember, the higher time frame is golden, and if you mark it up from the higher time frame and you scale down, it's going to pay you out. Again, we could have made way more than 103. If we were also letting those other trades ride, we could have definitely profited a whole lot more. And we could have, like I said, I just put those trades on the side earlier just to kind of show you how you can scale in and take multiple entries and be closing out along the way, and how to control your greed. So I hope this was very helpful for you. Again, Trade by Sky was helpful for me, teaching me ICC. Again, I've been a successful trader. I've been self-taught. And I've taught myself everything, but I needed another confluence to help me see the charts clearly, and that I will say has helped me. So I do got to give the shout out and credit where it's due. But I ain't gonna knock myself. Again, I am self-taught and I brought myself this far, but ICC did give clarification on the charts. Again, trend lines are a good way to help following up with ICC. But other than that, guys, this is it. We totally got something going. So until the next one,